All right, we are live, and today is another Travel Tip Tuesday. And today's guest is Warren Hepburn, and he is with Zale Maritime Management down in the Bahamas. And I am so happy to have him on. He's going to tell us a little bit about the Island Fast Pass, what's going on in the Bahamas, because there's actually kind of some breaking news going on right now. But thank you so much, Warren, for coming on. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to speak with me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Definitely something that we should do. I'm a bit nervous, but yeah, let's do it.
Oh, it'll be fine. Nobody's even watching, right? Nobody's watching. But yeah, so it's just a pleasure to have you on. And I know that we've actually, I met you through, what, through Sergio. So Sergio I had on just a couple of weeks
Yeah.
ago, 2 weeks ago now, and he is with Old
hmm
Bahama Bay West End, and it was such a pleasure to have him on. And he was like, "You should totally reach out to Warren," and I was like, "Sure, I have no problem talking to Warren." So it's really
Okay.
cool that one connection leads to the next, and so on and so forth. So it's really cool to have you on. So first and foremost, I mean, I've
Yeah,
gotten to know
man. Thanks.
you, of course. I've gotten to know you a little bit, but I want people to understand like what you do and what Zale Maritime Management. You created this company down there. What do you guys do actually in the Bahamas?
Okay. Well, we're actually a maritime agency. We service a number of vessels, whether it's a container vessel, a bulk carrier, a tanker, research vessel, you name it, whatever it is, we service them. We basically act as the middleman in between, which will be the terminal, or whether it be customs and immigration and the ship owners. We're that link that brings everything together. Um, and we noticed we had a little issue on the island with a few of the marinas, whereas a lot of boaters were complaining about the wait, the clearance time. It could be hectic, right? So, we this is how we met Sergio, and we basically had the same vision, we had the same dream, and we formed the perfect marriage. And I mean, it's been working out great. To make a long story short, our plan was to make this experience for boaters as seamless as possible. We want to just provide a level of hospitality that's sky high.
Absolutely. Who
And
doesn't like sky high
you know
hospitality?
definitely.
That's so.
Exactly. And Sergio was like, sorry,
No, go ahead. I think there's a little bit of a lag, but you're
go
good.
ahead. Yeah. Yeah, so Sergio was like, I think you should meet some of my buddies. And I was like, okay, sure. And so we did just that. And we put our brains together, and they already had the Island Fast Pass in the making. And what we did was, with our local knowledge, we just combined everything, and we just were swapping information back and forth. It took us, I would say, about maybe 3 to 4 months to finally get it to a point that we can try it out. And then we are now at our third version of it. And I mean, it's been so good. The feedback that we've been getting from the boaters is, I mean, Lord, that's all I can say. So
That's awesome.
yeah, and when we first tried, yeah,
So you guys pretty much took a issue that was going on. You guys saw that there were people and there was a problem, right? So everybody who was coming onto the island, they were in these really long lines and they were trying to get through customs and such like that. And they had this idea already made, but when you guys met, you were able to collaborate and create this amazing new, like, idea, because you guys were solving a problem, which is all of what good business is, right? So good business is just
exactly.
finding a problem and then creating the solution. And that's what you guys did. So that's really cool. So tell people a little bit about what Island Fast Pass actually does. So when you go to the island, and let's say you're doing the Island Fast Pass ahead of time, right? Like, what does that translate to? Like, how does someone use Island Fast Pass?
Okay, Island Fast Pass was created particularly for pleasure boaters coming into the island, and what we ultimately want to do is to have it as like an app. But for right now, what we would do, we would send a link, and they would log onto the link and send the information. We would start to gather it without getting into too much detail. We basically process all of their documentations for customs and immigration. By the time they arrive, everything will already been submitted, and they show up to the dock. Customs do a spot check, wave them hallelujah, see you later, and they're in and out.
Wow.
So that process probably takes about, depending on how many passengers on the vessel, it can range from 5 to 15 minutes. 15 minutes being long, but without us, we've met some boaters that's been sitting on the dock for maybe 2 to 3 hours just filling out paperwork. So
Wow.
you can imagine a boater just waking up in the middle of the day, in the middle of the morning, say, "Hey, you know what? I think the fish are biting good in the Bahamas. I need to take a trip." So they arrive at 9, and it's a day trip now, and it takes about 3 hours for them to get cleared. By the time that they already cleared, it's almost time to go back home. So this is where we step in. We shave that time down tremendously. They can get right into fishing, and they can be on their way home in no time, be home before supper.
Wow. So does that work? Like, do you fill it out once, and then once you fill it out once, you're able to go anytime? Or is it like every single time you have to fill it out? Or is there like something that is kept on file? Like, how does that work?
It's extremely simple. um, um, it's fun. I can say that. um, but for every voyage, depending on, like, again, the which passengers you have, whether you have, let's say, different firearms on board, something that we need to make note of, But if it's just a standard trip, nothing changes, then basically we have some of the information already saved, and we can just go from there.
So they register with Island Fast Pass with you guys ahead of time, right?
Yes, yes. They
And
they
then
send us the information, and we process it, and they give us their ETA, and it's just like that.
okay, and then when they get there, they say, "Hey, I have the Island Fast Pass," and that's what expedites it, right?
Well, we meet them at the dock.
Oh, okay.
We would already have been at customs. Everything would have been submitted. We meet them at the dock. We greet them. Hey guys, welcome to West End. Walk right this way. You're good to go,
Very
and that's
cool.
it.
So, and you were saying that sometimes that they're like obviously we're in quarantine right now, but before quarantine and COVID
Mhm.
and everything like that, you said that there were how many vessels that were coming in and how many vessels that would get backed up into customs?
Well, on a good weekend, let's say, for example, the 4th of July weekend, um, West End can probably see close to 90 vessels for that weekend. Um, but any regular day, let's say through the week, regular week, nothing really is going on. I could see maybe 10 to 20. It varies, weather conditions. It's so much variables. But for the most part, if there's something going on, the vessel count will definitely be up there.
Wow, yeah, no, that's a lot of different vessels coming in. And so that's really cool that you guys made that idea and like wanted to mainstream everything that's going on down there. And that's only available right now in West End. You guys are only working with Old Bahama Bay currently, correct?
Well, we've just been in communication with our contacts within Bimini and the Exumas.
Mm.
So pretty soon we're going to be launching. Maybe tonight we may put a post. I don't know. We'll see. But we
Oh,
may
you
put a
guys
post
heard
out
it here
saying,
first, baby.
yeah. So yeah, we're moving into Bimini. We're definitely going into Exuma, and we're gonna make a stop into Nassau, hail some people, leave a mark there, and then ultimately we're gonna take the entire Bahamas, and then we'll find a way to take the entire Caribbean.
Oh, I like that plan.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I know that there is maybe some, I don't know if the people watching are aware, but there are some updates in the Bahamas going on right now, right? So we're here, we're in our whole little bubble here, but you're actually in the Bahamas. So tell us a little bit about what's going on so that people can get an update, because this is like Travel Tip Tuesday during, after Corona, whatever. So yeah, tell us just your insight on what's actually going on the island right now.
Well, just to clear the airways, there is I don't want to call any direct companies, but the media is really pushing the narrative that the Bahamas has banned U.S. visitors, which is complete bogus. We are accepting U.S. visitors. Unfortunately, we're not accepting the commercial flights or commercial cruises or whatnot. Now, if you have a private plane or a private charter or a private vessel, you can come over. It's no problem. Unfortunately, Grand Bahama, which is where I live, is going to be on a complete lockdown as of Thursday until August 7th. So we're going to be cut off entirely from anyone entering or leaving. So the military or the defense force is being positioned strategically around the perimeter of the island to ensure that nobody leaves or nobody comes in, and basically to, make sure we abide by the rules and regulations put in place by the Ministry of Health.
Absolutely. So that's a different island, though, or that's a different part of the island?
Well, Grand Bahama itself is a separate island from any other island. West End is in Grand Bahama, so all of that is just one island, and so we had the most cases since the country opened up again. I think it was July 1st. I think so. On July 1st, we opened our borders, and since then, we've had cases that went straight out of the roof. It's more cases in 2 weeks than we did in 3.5 months. So the government acted quickly, and it's extremely uncomfortable, but I do understand why it's necessary. So we're on lock.
Well, I know that once things, slowly open up, once we get a hold on everything, and I think the fact is that there's so much information going out there, and yes, the media is definitely like contributing to all of the information out there and kind of putting it in a certain way. Mm-hmm. But, that's why I wanted to have this Travel Tip Tuesday, because a lot of things are changing due to Corona. And I had someone on who was with Sky Blue Jet Aviation, which is local to where I am, but they can pretty much service Florida or whoever wants to use them. And they are a private plane charter jet that goes over to the Bahamas. But yeah, there's just so many things that are changing in in the industry itself. And that's why I wanted to create this, so that people could understand like what is changing. Because I know before, when me and Sergio talked 2 weeks ago, he was mentioning how they are going to do testing, and that the testing that they're doing is, or they're not going to do testing, but you have to be tested at least a week before you came over there, right? And you had to make sure that you had a negative test. Is that what it was?
Yes. The requirements are that you have a negative COVID test, and also you will have to go to a website and apply for your travel health visa. Once you have your health visa and your negative test results, you're permitted into the island or to the country. So it's really not that difficult, but it all depends on how fast you can get your results back, because you can't apply for the visa without your results. And then you have that 10-day window. Exactly. That 10-day window where it'll be null and void afterwards. So you need to have perfect timing and pray that the weather and everything is on your side when making a trip to the Bahamas.
Yeah, well, the weather's never on my side whenever I go anywhere. I went on a camping trip recently, and it just like rained majority of the time. And I'm like, cool, thanks, Florida. Appreciate you. Oh, geez.
Yeah.
But so I probably wouldn't be the smartest to be on that kind of time constraint. But it's funny. Well, that's really awesome. I'm so glad that Sergio connected me with you so that we can learn a little bit more about what Island Fast Pass actually does.
Yeah.
I know that the Bahamas, I know a lot of people before coronavirus was even going on, a lot of people were concerned about the Bahamas because of the hurricanes that happened back, October, September, like a year ago, right? In 2019.
Yeah, September.
Yeah,
Yeah.
September 2000. Okay, so it was
So
almost a year ago.
yes, ma'am, definitely. So the funny thing about Hurricane Dorian, right? I already met Sergio, and we already were friends, and we already were in discussion about Island Fast Pass and whatnot. And then we were actually getting ready to have a major launch. And at that time, the hurricane was just a tropical depression. So we was like, okay, it'll blow over. We'll just have to put our launch probably another weekend or so, but we'll be good. And then it just keep getting worse, and it starts to grow, and it starts to strengthen. And then next thing you know, it's a category 1, and then category 2, and then the day of it went straight up to a category 5. And the funny thing is, Sergio's such a good guy.
Yes.
So he stayed in communication with me straight through. And once we lost cell service, he was the last person I spoke to. And a day later, we finally got a little bit of service, and he called me and he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" It's like, "Boy, it's rough. It's rough, man. I don't even know. Did the eye pass us yet?" And he's like, "Bro, that storm ain't moving." I was like, "What? What you mean not moving?" He's like, "Bro, that's stuck. That ain't going nowhere. That's right on you." I was like, "Man." And then we lost cell service. And then the next day he called and he was like, "Hey, bro, the storm is still there." And I was like, "Whoa." And I live in a relatively strong house, but I do know a lot of people in our community, their houses are not really as strong. So my concern was initially, hey, if this big house is taking this beating, I can imagine these smaller wooden houses, it's definitely going to be a loss of life. And then I've been getting calls, the flooding is everywhere, flooding in areas that I didn't even know could flood, and
Yeah.
I mean, it was rough. It was
Yeah.
rough. I lost a lot of friends. It's rough, but we get by it, and we're strong people. We experienced a lot of hurricanes, but this one was different. This is different.
Yeah.
So since then, the island was really beaten down. We were still actually right now a lot of places are still under construction. A lot of homes a lot of people are still homeless. It's a lot of people still missing. Um, I mean, but we still wear a smile. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
we welcome guests with open arms. We do what we got to do. We stay strong, and that's how we roll.
You guys are very resilient. Definitely, you have to be to go through
Thank you.
something like that and come back up on top. And a lot of people were, especially, in the US, like we obviously knew that the Bahamas were going through this turmoil and everything like that. And I know that here in Florida, at least locally in my area, we did a lot of our community got together to get supplies together and like jet planes down there with a bunch of different supplies. So many people volunteering and trying to help out with all of that. I even helped like sort items at certain places. Operation 300 was one of the places that actually was putting together some supplies. But you guys rebuilt quite quickly. You guys were doing a lot. Like you guys you guys were already rebuilding from the last major hurricane that you guys had, and then that had happened, and you guys were almost complete, at least what Sergio told me. You guys were almost complete, and then that happened. But a lot of people, I think, don't realize that it was only like that one island or two islands that got hit, right? Really bad. And then
yes,
yeah, but it's not all of the Bahamas. So a lot of people were like, oh, you can't go to the Bahamas. Like, they had that huge hurricane, but it wasn't every single location that got, hurt. What did you say that? I think you said, when did West End ended up opening back up? Like
West
after,
End actually opened up November 1st. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm thinking it was November 1st. And they were fully operational the Fuel Bay was up and running. Customs and Immigration were there doing their thing. I mean, Old Bahama Bay, they they don't play, you
They
know.
don't play.
They
They're
don't
like,
play,
we
man.
are
They
gonna,
were, and
like,
the
we're
thing
gonna get
is, in my opinion, I feel they could have opened earlier, but they were acting as a hub for hurricane relief items. And I take my hat off to them. I commend them. And they did an awesome job in helping the community. I mean, trust me, if it hadn't been for Old Bahama Bay and the great people of the United States of America coming by bringing supplies, I mean, yeah, oh man, lifted to Old Bahama Bay. I respect them. I love them to death. I treat it like it's my own, you know?
absolutely. No, they're great. They're a great company, and I was, again, like, I was very happy to have met with Sergio and able to connect with you as well.
Mhm.
The Bahamas, I think that a lot of people get this idea of the Bahamas. I mean, I think with all islands, they get this idea that the islands are, there's definitely an island life culture. Don't get me wrong. But when you go to the resort islands, you don't get as much of the culture as, when you actually get into the island, right? Like, it's a lot different than if you're, actually seeing the amazing people that are in the community down there. I don't know if you want to touch a little bit on that. Like, are you born and raised on that same island? Like, where exactly, are you from?
Well, I was born and raised here on this island. I spent my entire life here. So I'm an island boy, 100%. I live in West Grand Bahama, just about, my home is about 14 miles from Old Bahama Bay. I grew up probably going on the point fishing off the rocks right there, kind of running from security as a kid.
Hey, haven't
And
we all?
yeah, and fate would have it. I'm actually in Old Bahama Bay working along with them, to ensure that, their guests get the best treatment they can ever get. We just want to eliminate. I don't want to go make it seem like I'm jumping back and forth, but back to this
Okay.
island fast pass thing. Um, you know, our plan was initially, help a few people, solve a problem, and ultimately make a couple of bucks. But the more we do it and the more we interact with the guests, the more love we found, we get out of it. And then this relationship with the dock masters, customs and immigration, the guests. I mean, it's like we all a family. And we look out for one another.
Absolutely.
So it's not just all work. It's fun. The camaraderie is awesome. You know, and even the people that don't use us, and if they need some help, we're there to help them out. The thing is to just make sure everybody is well taken care of, and they basically want to come back. That's all we want.
Absolutely. That's amazing. Yeah, no. And I know that the Bahamians are known for their generosity and just their open arm and welcomeness.
Mhm.
So it's really cool to hear, the perspective of someone who's born and raised there. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's just a pleasure to, like, get to meet so many new people and, like, people from different areas. I always love to hear, like, the stories of people from different areas. My mom was, I've told you, my mom was from Dominican Republic. So I've been to Dominican Republic multiple times, but I always saw, like, the real island life down there because I wasn't going to resorts. I had family there. So it was really cool to just, the street food. Oh gosh. Now I really want street food from the islands. But yeah, it's a great culture down there. And I can't wait to get myself down there at some point whenever, we can get things sorted. Is there anything that you want to
Yeah,
share
definitely.
else about the island?
Yes, definitely. Sergio probably told you this, but anyone visiting Old Bahama Bay, um, my number one thing to them, or any other resort on the island, is to go into the community. Interact, get the real culture. Experience the real island life. Stay away from all the fast food restaurants that you can easily access in the U.S. Go to these places that don't even have a telephone number. But they got the best food in the world. you know, nice and
Yeah.
fresh. I mean, oh man, I could take you to some places right now. Oh man, you know,
Yeah.
and that's what I really would like, you know, for visitors to actually come into the community and just take a walk, you know, just take a stroll down memory lane or go through one of the little corners, the local fish fries, you know, just stay away from where they try to push everybody, where everything seems so, I don't want to say scripted, but it's basically their job to entertain in a certain way or whatever, you know what I mean? But
Yeah,
just
no. I mean,
come into
it
experience
sort of
everything
is.
natural.
It is sort of scripted too, because I mean, I've gone to Paris and, Barcelona, but I always try to see like the smaller cities of those countries too.
Mhm.
And when I go to those bigger cities, like it's like everybody's just like, they're all trying to sell you. Like it's just touristy. It's touristy. At the end of the day, it's touristy. So like when you really go somewhere, getting that true culture, I mean, food is my language, man. Like I love food. So if I judge a place based off of their food. If their food is good, then I'm good. And I have had some incredible food. And I always ask wherever I go, I'll always be like, oh, where do you recommend? Like I'll ask a local, I'll be like, oh, are you from here? Okay, great, good. Now where do I go? And then I go wherever they say. And, I've never been steered wrong. I'll tell you that. Because I know if someone came to my town here, we don't have a huge city here on the Treasure Coast. But if someone asked me about food, I could tell you 1,000,001 places, and they're not going to be the places you're going to find. Like, I mean, yeah, you could find them on Google if you're looking for them, but there's so many places that people just don't think to go to. And
But then, and that's it, you know.
Go ahead.
So,
Sorry.
and another thing I would like to share too is it's a lot of locals.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do something, and sometimes they get nervous or they get intimidated, you know. But locals have a lot of great ideas, but they just haven't been introduced to the right person. And who knows? Look at me and Sergio. You know, I stumble across them, and look what we're doing, and we're doing some big things. So,
Absolutely.
I would encourage everyone, venture into the community, listen to some of the stories. It's a lot of folk stories going on, entertaining, get away from the MTV, the BET, all of the Nickelodeon or whatever, YouTube, Instagram for a minute. Just get rid of electronics entirely and just soak in paradise and just relax.
Live that
and
true island life.
Exactly,
Yeah.
like it was my birthday over the weekend, and me and a
Oh my
couple
God,
of
it's
my
your
cousins,
birthday?
yes, I'm telling you, I'm
Happy
like,
birthday.
thank you.
Woo!
Yeah. So I'm 23. I'm 23 now.
Wow. I didn't even know how old you were.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm not 23. But yeah, we piled up on the boat.
24, right? You're
Yeah, so
24?
I'll stick with that. I'll
Yeah,
stick with
right.
that. 24 is good. Yeah, so we piled up on the boat, and we left our cell phones home, and we went over to Sandy Key, which is about 8 miles from West End, and we had a few bears, and we got some conch, and we did our cook and clean right on the key, and it was no cell phones, it was no interruptions. We just had a merry old time, and on the way back we stopped into Old Bahama Bay, hailed everybody, and got a few drinks, and before 8 p.m. we was in bed sleeping,
That's awesome.
So it's things like that I
When
wish everybody could experience, So yeah,
Absolutely.
come on.
Yeah, no, when I go down there, you're gonna be my personal guide, right? I'm just gonna be like,
Yeah,
wherever
man,
Warren
definitely.
says I need to go, that's where I'm going. That's
Yeah,
funny.
it'll definitely take you.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'll have to take a whole video on like, okay, these are the places y'all need to check out when you come down here. Okay, when you take that
Yep.
jet down there, you're gonna
Mhm.
Go to these places. Top 5 places to go check out in the Bahamas. You already got the video plan.
Maybe top 10. It's more than that. Maybe top 10.
Top 10. Okay, we can do top 10. That's fine. I'll have to make a good trip. Awesome. So yeah, we talked about the Island Fast Pass, and I really just think that that's such an amazing thing that you guys put together just to help expedite what's going on down there. So just in normal times when people are traveling down there, I think that it's important to expedite that problem, because at the same time, when you're down there, you want to be on. I know if I was staring at the beach, waiting in line, I would want to be on the beach, not in line looking at the beach.
Exactly, Yeah, 100%.
So if you can cut my wait time from 3 hours to 15 minutes, I mean, time is money, right?
Exactly.
There you go. So anybody who is watching or listening to this live right now, I just want you guys to make sure that you guys reach out to Warren if you have if you guys have any further questions. I know that his email address, or the email address for his company, is in the description of this video. There's also his cell phone number on there if you have any questions. And Warren, you've been so helpful. Is there anything else that I'll also put up his website here. Go ahead and check out his website. Island Fast Pass has an Instagram and a Facebook page that you guys can check out. Is there any other information that I'm missing?
Yes, just to touch back, we're going to be operating in Bimini and the Exumas real soon. So, same procedure. We'll take care of you. Yeah.
Awesome. That's really great. It's great to see that, a small. When did you guys actually launch? I don't know if we mentioned that earlier. Because you mentioned that you had tried to start it in September. You said.
Unfortunately, when we wanted to launch, it was the hurricane. So we was like, you know what? We'll just work and see how things go and try it out. And then we wanted to launch again in March, but then up comes COVID. So we haven't officially had a launch date, but we've been operating for a little over a year.
Okay, so you guys have been operating, but it hasn't been like full-blown launch because of everything that's kind of came your way along the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, then, guys, that's even better, because now my people that are listening right now have the first little hint of what's going on. It's not even like super no knowledge.
Exactly. So yeah, we're gonna have a big launch party once all this nonsense blows over. We'll definitely invite you. Hopefully you can come, bring a friend, and let's just have a good time. Absolutely,
I'll make it happen. Yeah, and then we'll just have to have a whole nother video. People will hear all about Island Fast Pass. I'll be. Is it a physical pass or no? It's just the paperwork thing.
Well, we're working on getting some T-shirts that are saying, in the back it'll say, "What are you waiting for?"
I like that.
Yeah, that's something we're working on. So everybody will see the T-shirts.
Yeah, I like that.
Right now, for example, we had this rush about a week ago, and our guys were in and out within minutes. And the guys that didn't use us was like, "Hey, what does he know? Who does he know?" And we was like, "Island Fast Pass," So yeah,
it's definitely going to be one of those things. So right now, it's like you have to be in the know to know about Island Fast Pass. So everybody who's watching is now in the know. You guys have now been told.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that I could help share your secret and give some light to everybody that's going on. So I think you guys are going to take the Caribbean by storm. I'm excited to see it. And I'm glad that I know you from the start. So now I can, like, a year down the line when you guys are like super millionaires, I'll just be like, oh my gosh, Warren, we're gonna be the new Warren Buffett, right?
Yeah, man, definitely.
Warren Buffett number 2. You already got half the name. That's funny. Well, awesome. Is there any last notes that you want to do before we pop off?
Okay, just as a reminder for travelers, I'm making preparations to come to the Bahamas. Grand Bahama is going to be on a 2-week lockdown, so our borders for Grand Bahama will be cut off entirely. But there's still Bimini, there's still the Exumas, there's still Nassau. So, I would say make sure you have your negative results, get your travel health visa, and take a trip. That's all I have to say.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. Well, guys, every Tuesday we do this Travel Tip Tuesday, and I have a new guest come on this week. If you guys are just joining for the first time now, it was Warren Hepburn with Zale Maritime Management. And thank you so much, Warren, for coming on again. I want you guys who are watching right now, I have new guests every week, so we always talk about what's coming up in travel and what you guys need to know. So thank you, Warren. And I look forward to meeting you in person at some point in time in the future. And thank you to all who are watching right now.
All right.
All right. Bye, everyone. We'll see you guys soon.